Alright, so boom. Today's topic.
Art is not in making money, but in keeping it. I heard this quote a while back, and I honestly think it's so true because I've seen countless people make crazy amounts of money and lose it as fast as it came in. And I've been guilty of this as well. After being a full-time entrepreneur for almost 10 years, I've had many ups and downs financially. I made lots of money at a young age and spent it recklessly, and I've even been over $20,000 in debt. But now, after learning from my past experiences, my spending habits have improved drastically. In this video, I'll be sharing exactly how I spend my $100,000 monthly income and why I actually barely spend any of it at all.
You know what's funny? The thing that even makes it hard to even keep your money in the first place is the fact that people do not pay themselves first. Simple. You get your little $2,000 deposit, $4,000 deposit. How much of that are you paying yourself first real quick? Pay yourself first 10%, 30%, 40%. Pay yourself something, right? Put it directly into your savings account and then work with the rest of the money.
Why are you making it complicated? It's easy.
That right there is arguably one of the most basic fundamentals of personal finance.
Let's begin with 3 simple financial rules that I follow that completely transform my financial situation. The first principle that I follow in my personal spending habits is living below my means. With the income that I have right now, I could go get an exotic, I could go live in some crazy penthouse apartment, but I keep my life very simple, and this actually makes me much happier. I know one too many people that are out here rich, making good money online, but literally living paycheck to paycheck.
Damn, so slight. All that jewelry and money and you got dirty dishes, huh?
Yes, you might make $40,000 a month online, but that exotic car you have, that penthouse, those expensive dinners, the nights at the club, that's gonna cost you around $35,000 to $40,000 a month. It's just a very unsustainable lifestyle to live with your expenses right at the level of the income you're bringing in.
I'd say if you don't have any, if you're not debt free, and if you don't have investments into some type of Roth IRA, 401k, you're investing in the S&P 500 companies or whatever, then the term luxury, L-U-X, I don't even know how to spell luxury, should not be in your vocabulary. Again, if you are still in debt and don't have money in some type of investment, the term luxury should not be in your vocabulary.
I know, I'm pissing everybody off tonight. That's my job.
And I feel like the following video right here pretty much exemplifies this point. When you put it into a context of maybe say you want to buy a Rolex, a Rollie, per se. You are in debt and have no money in some type of investment, but you're buying luxury items, you're hustling backwards.
Suppose that you were 18 years old and that you wanted to buy a Rolex Submariner for a price of around $8,000. Now, is that a wise decision? Well, what if instead you had invested that money towards your retirement? And let's assume that you'd like to retire at the age of 62. How much would you have after those 44 years? Well, that's what I wanted to know, so I pulled up an investment calculator and I plugged in the numbers. They say that a good investment is one that doubles every 7 years, and to accomplish that, you need to get a return rate of around 10%. So if we start with an initial investment of $8 grand for a term of 44 years with no additional contributions, at the end of that time, you would have $530,000. Now, of course, part of the cost of ownership with Rolex is service, which is only around $1,000 every 5 years. But if we factor in a small contribution of an additional $200 a year, the sum total of our investment after that length is actually $660,000.
Again, get into the habit of checking your bank account every single day. Constantly seeing negatives leave your account will make you more conscious about your buying decisions. You know those ones where you don't check your bank account for like 2 or 3 weeks? Because you are nervous about what you see? You don't want to be like that, especially if the things you're constantly buying are depreciating liabilities. Does the thing you're about to buy, does it help you make more money in the long run? Is it going to save you more money in the long run? If not, you probably don't need it that much. Oh, and unsubscribe from Uber Eats marketing emails. You'll save bare guap, lose some fat, and have a fat emergency fund. I had to unsubscribe from Uber Eats like a while ago because, you know, seeing their emails was just a constant reminder to spend money. So when you look at the opportunity cost of not, you know, saving your money and actually, you know, once you pay debt, there's no downside to being debt free. Once you pay the debt down, it goes down.
Now, I know for some of you out there, it's very difficult to live below your means because all the money that you make has to go to rent, car payments, and food. But the truth of the matter is, if you can't get creative and figure out a way to put back a small percentage of your income, it's going to be really difficult to make any type of investments that are going to change your life, like starting a business, building up an investment portfolio, or just having that safety net to live with more freedom. So the first rule that I follow is living below my means. So the second rule is one that I learned at a very young age, but only started applying in the last 2 years. When I was 16 years old, I read this book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And one of the main concepts that the author talks about is paying yourself first. Now, at that age, I didn't fully understand what he meant by that because I wasn't running a profitable business. My business was unprofitable and I couldn't possibly see any way to pay myself because it wasn't making any money. And then when I finally did start making money, I had a really hard time taking money out of the business account and paying it into my personal account. For some reason, I would feel guilty about this and just keep all the money in the business. First off, you don't build up any personal financial freedom. You're not gonna have any savings, you're not gonna have any investments or any personal money that you can use. This applies to people who have a 9-to-5 job as well. When you get your paycheck, it's very important to take a percentage of that, whether that be 10, 20, 30%, and put that back into your savings or your investment account. Otherwise, you're going to end up spending all that money and you're gonna be forced to live paycheck to paycheck. Now,
ideally, the goal is to have at least, at the very basic, at least have 3 months worth of expenses saved up. That means if your monthly expenses, let's say with rent, groceries, car insurance, whatever it is, let's say it's $1,000, right? So your first goal should be to have at least $3,000 saved up in your savings account. That's pretty straightforward, right? And better yet, I'm not sure if he's gonna touch on it, but the credit card, man. Ladies and gentlemen, bruv, listen to me. Open your ears. Open your ears. Lend me your ears, please.
People who have traveled from villages near and far, lend me your ears.
You may have a credit card limit of, let's say, $1,000 right now, but please implement your own self-imposed credit card limit of, let's say, $300.
Hey, do you mind paying for this? I don't have any cash.
Sure, I'll just put it on my credit card. I'm never going to pay it back anyway. Because I have $30,000 in credit card debt. When they call, I tell them I can't pay it back yet.
Having your own self-imposed credit card limit not only prevents you from overspending or splurging essentially, but also prevents you from having your credit score or credit ranking tank as well, right? So you have more trouble buying a house. I'd say the following steps. Have at least 3 months worth of expenses saved up, right? That means you're getting your $2,000 deposit, you're paying yourself at least 20%, 30%, putting that directly into your savings account, right? Once you have 3 months worth of expenses saved up, the financial discipline that it takes you to save money prepares you to use a credit card responsibly. And when you do use that credit card, always stay below about 30%. I'd recommend honestly 10%.
For what, Chris? Why are you laughing for? Why are you laughing for? I'm being serious. I'm being serious. No, you see, I'm talking facts here. I don't do if, buts, and maybes. I do absolutes.
A lot of people don't understand is that not only is paying a credit card on time by the credit card due date important, but also credit utilization. So, for example, let me do a quick rundown. For me personally, my payment due date is usually the 5th of each month. So the next one coming up may be about May 5th, right? That's one aspect. That accounts for about 35% of your overall credit score. But the second part, 30%, is credit utilization. So the statement date is when your credit card balance gets reported to credit bureaus, which for me is usually the 12th of each month. So you want to ensure that your overall balance on your credit card is below that 20% margin, I would say, so that your overall credit utilization is low, right? So again, if you have a $1,000 limit, it's the 10th or the 9th or 3 or 4 days before the statement closing date, you want to pay it off or pay it down below 20% by the time the credit bureaus are told of your report. Stuff like that. That's how you're able to not only manage your credit card well, right? So you don't get into credit card debt, but also so that you can get the best interest possible on mortgages, stuff like that. But basically, if you are using your credit card correctly, you should essentially be paying it off every 2 weeks or so. And it's especially useful if you are trying to fund your business with a credit card. Listen, listen. Do not fund your business with a credit card. Fund it with your own personal savings, personal money. This is coming from someone who's had a failed Amazon FBA business. It went nowhere. I ended up in about $12,000 credit card debt. It's crazy, right? Because I was buying all this inventory, buying all this product. I think it's a dropshipper, right? Jordan Welch, yeah, it's a dropshipper. I was buying all this product, all this stuff in the hopes of potential profit. And I'll talk about the misconception about dropshipping and Amazon FBA courtesy of Reddit towards the end of this video.
Now, it might seem hard, but if you set a strict rule for yourself to say, I'm gonna pay myself 10% out of every single one of my paychecks and put it into my savings or investment account, you're gonna learn how to stretch that 90% and use that for your living expenses. So I set a rule for exactly how much to pay myself out of my business and exactly how much I'm gonna invest each month. And the last rule that I follow is to build out an emergency fund of 12 months and invest the rest of the money. Cash sitting in a bank account is pretty much dead money. You get no interest on it, it doesn't grow, and it's not working for you at all. It's very good to have at least 6 months in cash for savings and emergency purposes, but other than that, your money is much better off in investment accounts. So those are the 3 simple rules that I follow when it comes to spending my money. So now I wanna break down exactly how much money I spend on my business and my personal life. We're gonna start with the business so you can see exactly how much money it costs to run an operation like this, and then we'll get into the personal. So let's head over to my living room and break this down. So I think it makes the most sense to separate business and personal because the money I spend on my business is an investment and it's typically going to make me more money. So to be honest, it doesn't really cost that much to run a YouTube channel. Last month, my YouTube channel brought in around $28,000 in revenue from ads. In terms of how much I spent, it's really not that much. I pay a good friend of mine around $500 a month to help me with chopping up these videos, so it makes the editing process way easier. And every month I usually buy some new camera equipment. Like last month I bought these studio lights and also a monitor for my camera, which was around $300. So on average I spend around $800 a month on my YouTube channel, and last month it brought in over $27,000 in profit.
Basically, y'all notice everybody that tells you how to make money online, they all have a YouTube channel? What is that telling you? What is that telling you? You need to make a YouTube channel, straight up.
It's ridiculous. It's obvious what's being done out here. It's on a nightly basis. I hope the world can see now what's really going on out here, because it's getting ridiculous. It's really ridiculous. Yes, man, this is ridiculous, man. Ridiculous.
You may not feel like you have quality original content you can come up with, but you can start off by doing reaction style videos. I have a whole video dedicated to how to edit and shoot reaction videos off your iPhone. You use if your iPhone, a second laptop or second phone, iMovie, and you're good to go. You don't have to pay no editing software, no expensive camera equipment. It's just arguably the most minimalistic way to start making YouTube videos. I'll leave that video in the description or pin comment of this video.
Next up, we have my software Viral Vault, which is a little bit more expensive to run because I have a team of 7 employees and it's a software which requires maintenance and server costs. So last month, Viral Vault brought in around $82,000 in sales. To run this business, it cost me around $12,000 to pay my employees. I paid out around $5,000 to our affiliates, the people that promote our products. I pay around $2,000 to my developers just to maintain and keep the software running smoothly. And I spent about $150 on the server costs. All in all, the total cost for this business each month is around $19,000. And the profit that we brought in last month was over $63K. Now, my last business is my e-commerce company. This is the business that I see having the most long-term potential because my goal is to actually sell this brand next year. So last month, my e-commerce brand brought in around $85,000 in sales. To run that business, I paid my team around $3,000 last month. To pay for every product and have it shipped out, we paid $26,549. To promote the product with ads and influencers, I paid $45,083. So the total cost to run this business is $73,208 to bring in a profit of $10,411. Now,
you know what? See, $10,000 was the end profit, right? That's not even fact. He hasn't even mentioned potential refunds and taxes. So let's say he was only running the Shopify dropshipping business. Let's say he was only doing that. How much is he really bringing in?
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out.
I'm just saying, right? So this is a perfect segue to the following Reddit thread that I saw, right? This is pertaining to another Shopify dropshipping guru that I made a video about, Mikey Cass. Maybe you've heard of him. But under the comment, right? Because he's selling a $17 pre-built Shopify dropshipping store. But someone underneath that comment says, for any of you guys trying to get into e-commerce or online marketing, let me first suggest what not to do. Do not go into dropshipping. It has the lowest barriers to entry, which is why all the gurus push it as a way for beginners to make money. I have been doing digital marketing and e-com for years and tried dropshipping multiple times. My first product dropshipping, I killed it. Okay, listen to this. 200K sales my first 2 weeks. I was on cloud 9. Ooh. I had spent about 70K on ads, 70K on product, and had a nice healthy margin of 40K. Or so I thought.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. Okay.
I built out a customer service team to help answer questions and did full tracking so customers could track their products too. I had a personal connection in China, sourcing products, so I was avoiding middleman costs from Alibaba too. Things seemed solid until customers didn't get their products for over a month and started charging back. Some people who got their products on time complained about quality, but hey, it's dropshipping. You never even see the products, right? Well, every chargeback that occurs, you have to refund the customer and pay a fee. Also, assume 10% of your customers will return the product regardless. That's dropshipping for you. After fees, refunds, customer service overhead, tracking software, ad spend, designers, product Q&A, etc., you know what my net profit was on that $200K in sales? $0. In fact, I probably lost money. I'm not saying everybody's the case. Let's see if he talks about the refunds, because I think that pretty much shows you the extent, right?
Instagram advertising accounts. My expectation is that if somebody has $100,000 in sales, they probably have at least $20,000 in advertising. At least 20% of their sales is going to advertising. That's not even considering the fact that they have to purchase the product, which if we use that crazy example I gave you earlier, that means they have 50% going to the product, then they have 20% going to advertising, and that would leave a rough gross profit of maybe 30%. That's before paying any team members, doing any video production, paying yourself for the effort that you're doing. This is starting to look a little bit more normal. But we got to start with these questions.
With YouTube, you don't have that much overhead for the most part. Like, I have a vidIQ, it's at $12. I have my business account. I spend like $10 to maintain that. That's the business fee. Overall, my YouTube expense is like $50 per month, tops. Right? There's a exorbitant amount of potential profit you can make with the YouTube channel because it's so low barrier for entry for the most part.
To be fair, that's one of the worst months I've had with that store. On average, we bring in around $25,000 to $30,000 in profit each month. But I share the wins and the losses with you guys because I like to keep it real. So,
where's the refunds, bro? Bro, you did not talk about the refunds. Come on, fam. We need some, just that extra, you know what I'm saying? That extra. But we see, the thing that makes him the most money is the YouTube channel. So obviously, we all need to make a YouTube channel. And you think, oh, there's too much competition on YouTube. I'm never gonna make money. I'm never gonna get views. First of all, assume you won't make money for the first, I'd say, 2 years. Just assume 2 years, so that you don't think that YouTube will all of a sudden make you financially free. That's the worst way to be as a content creator on YouTube. This is why it's important to save, right? You have your main business, you're saving money, you're paying yourself first, 10%, 20%. Now you get to the point where you have anywhere from 3 to 6 months worth of expenses saved up, so that in the event that you quit or you get fired, you know, you can have a fallback option. And as your YouTube channel starts to build up, right? I'm just saying.
Last month, my total monthly profit was $101,311. Now you might be thinking, with that income, I'm out here balling, going to the club, spending money on supercars, but that's not how I live my life. For my personal expenses, I give myself a strict budget of $5,000 a month. And that includes my rent, my insurance, my car payment, my food, everything that it costs to live my life is under $5,000 a month. I've had times where I was spending over 30 G's a month in my personal life, having fun, buying clothes, partying. But to be honest with you, I'm much happier with my situation now than I was back then. I think since I had a personal brand, I was spending a lot of money trying to prove that I had it like that. But it's a losing game because the people that really have a lot of money don't usually spend it like that, and you end up just looking kind of foolish. And once I started to surround myself with those people, I started to really see the difference between those that really had it and the people that were trying to show that they had it. And that's when I made this change. So my 3 biggest personal expenses are my rent, my car, and the money that I spend on food. So when I was living in Los Angeles, I had an apartment that cost me around $3,200 a month to live in. When I decided that I was going to move to Miami, my goal was to find a much bigger place at a much lower price. And I actually did that. My apartment that I live in now is a 1-bedroom with an office, living room, bathroom, backyard, and it only cost me $1,950 a month. And that's including everything: water, electric, internet. Honestly, I got a great deal on this place. Now for my car, I actually have a 2018 Lexus IS 300. Is it the fastest car in the world? No, but for me, I actually like it. It's comfortable, it's reliable, I haven't had any maintenance issues with it, and I actually decided to lease this car under my business. business. So I do use a portion of the car for my personal life. So I write off half the car as a business expense and the other half I pay for. Personally, I pay around $330 a month for my car. For the car insurance, I pay around $134 a month. With the crazy gas prices we got right now, I've been spending around $60 a month on gas. And living in Miami, there's tolls everywhere and you have to pay to park in literally every place, so I spend about $100 on that as well. All in all, I spend a little less than $1,000 a month on my car, but to me, it's worth it.
Basically, if you wanna actually be financially free, you wanna have as few liabilities as possible, right? So for the most part, I'm not sure how he's usually using it for business, because all this stuff is online, so I don't know. But you want to avoid having car payments, avoid having, just buy it used. No one's really checking for you like that. Come on now, you know what I'm saying? Buy it used.
Just for that, I'm gonna spend my whole childhood eating what I want and doing drugs when I want. Whatever, I do what I want.
No, wait!
So, this is how you gradually get yourself a new car, or should I say newer car, right? Let's say a car payment would have been $200, for example, right? So for the meantime, still manage with whatever transportation you are currently using, right? Pay yourself the $200, right? Let's say within 10 months or so, you now have, what, $2,000. Buy a car. Decent car, whatever, right? And then again, keep paying yourself the car payment you would have paid for that car, right? And let's say you end up, maybe you have another $3,000 saved up within a couple months. You sell your current car, maybe you sell it for $1,500 or something, right? Now you have that money from that car plus the savings, and then you gradually build your way up to getting a newer version of a car and maybe a better quality car as well, right? So you do not, I repeat, unless you're balling, unless you're debt free and have investments in some type of investment account, you do not need to buy a new car. That car payment is what is also a part of what's eating into your monthly income.
Though, knowing what I know now, the next car I purchase will not be a lease. I believe the smartest way to buy a car is to buy a used car that has already depreciated over the last couple years from a private party. You're just going to be able to negotiate and get the best deal that way. You can also sell the car at the end.
Oh yeah, for the most part, the best time to buy a car is between the 3rd year and 8th year of ownership. So for example, let's say a car is released in 2020, right? The best time to own that car is between 2023, right? To avoid that depreciation, and 2028. So 2023 and 2028 approximately is the best time for you to own that car, right?
The question is, should you buy new and have the heavy depreciation in the beginning but have very little repair cost, or buy a car that has had a lot of depreciation that's occurred and risk the repair cost? And the answer to that is what I call the sweet spot. And the sweet spot occurs at about the 2nd year and goes till the 8th year. And that would, if you're putting on 12,000 miles a year, that would be between 24,000 and 96,000 miles. And this sweet spot is what I consider the best financial choice to own a car.
So anytime past 2028 or 2030, that's when you start having, maintenance issues, if at all, right? But in order to avoid the heavy depreciation, get a car 2 or 3 or 4 years after its initial release date.
Told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
And to recoup most of your money. So it's pretty much a no-brainer to buy cars that way instead. But I got the Lexus when I was 19 years old. I just wanted to get a car and it seemed like a good deal, so I went for it. And I think my most ridiculous expense is with restaurants. Admittedly, I spend about $1,000 a month on going out to eat. Now I know that the financial gurus are gonna hate me for that one, but it's one of the things that I enjoyed the most about life. I've been on a plant-based diet for over 4 years now, and I'm constantly looking for the best vegan restaurants everywhere that I go. And in Miami, there's a ton of them, so I'm a regular at most of the biggest plant-based restaurants in Miami. Not to mention, I love taking my friends out, enjoying a nice dinner. After working inside all day, it's one of my favorite things to do at the end of the day. I eat out for probably 80% of my meals, but for the other 20%, I make it at home. So because of that, I spend around $300 a month on groceries. Now, I don't really shop around for the cheapest brands. I'm usually looking for the best quality organic products because you only get one body and you have to take care of it. And then for my health insurance, it's only like $125 a month. And I also have another category that I wrote down here, which is $500 a month on other stuff, like my phone bill, fun times with my friends, clothes, or gifts for my friends or family. I give out gifts all the time. I just think it's really fun to do, and I always like to help out and give back to my friends.
But what about the dates? What about the dates? What's his dating budget looking like? What about the dates, bro? Are you getting finessed? Are you? What's going on? You know, overall, I would say don't spend more than $10 to $20 on a first date. You do not need to spend. You know, you don't. Okay, you don't need to splurge on dates. $20 max, right? Get a slice of pizza. Go for a walk in the park. Get some ice cream. Go get a hot dog from hot dog stand. Listen, think about it. Let's say you spend $100 on this date. Are you gonna see this girl again? Potentially not. Potentially so. Do you even know if you actually like that? Let's say you spend $100 and now you find out you don't actually like the girl like that. She's annoying. She's ratchet. Whatever it is. You just wasted $100, and that is what. If you're getting $20 an hour, that's 5 hours of your life, right? Anytime I buy stuff, I always think about it in terms of hours of life. So let's say $100, right? Is this thing worth 5 hours of my life? Is this clothing item worth 10 hours of my life? When you think about things in that time frame, it kind of readjusts or reframes your buying decisions.
I spend around $4,439 a month, which leaves me with an extra amount of money left over in my budget. And that's pretty much all that I spend my money on. As you can see, I live a pretty simple life. I rock black t-shirts almost every single day. I don't drive a crazy exotic car, and I don't live in a super luxurious apartment.
So basically, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. So how much is he saving? Like what, 90% of his income is he saving? Obviously, you know, it's always easy to say save more money, save XYZ, but you know, once you boil down all your main expenses, like to the bare minimum, the next step is to find new money-making methods. Oh, and another thing that people don't talk about when it comes to saving money is like your utility bills, right? Not leaving things plugged in your house, because whenever things are plugged in, it can still extract phantom energy and still like take up some costs. Don't leave the water running when you're washing your hair or your body. Turn it off as soon as you're done with it. When you're washing dishes, turn it off. You can, you know, use the washing machine, but also instead of using the dryer, air dry your clothes on a hanger, stuff like that. Obviously, if you are living in a warm weather environment, turn the AC off when you're no longer in the house, and then turn it back on when you're back. And let's say it's winter, right? Turn the heater off, or turn it maybe 19 degrees, or lower the heater, right? Or lower the AC whenever you're not in the house, and then increase it whenever you're back in the house. So stuff like that will also help lower your overall utility bills and help you save money indirectly, right? You know, depending, obviously, maybe he had a bad month or so, right? But obviously he didn't take into account, he didn't talk about potential refunds. So let's say maybe another $1,000, $2,000 comes off per month in refunds. That is just something to think about when it comes to you potentially going into Amazon FBA, Shopify Dropshipping, or etc. And please learn from my personal experience. Do not fund your business with a credit card in the hopes of potential profit, because if that doesn't work out and if you end up getting refunds and all this money starts going away, right? You now spent $3,000 with a credit card, right? You owe the money and potential interest. So fund it, bootstrap it with your own money as much as possible.
I am a clown. I am a clown.
So the business starts making you money profitably. But while you look right here, yeah, watch my past video right here on how you can edit reaction style videos so you can start making some money online, maybe within 2 to 3 years. Or watch my other video right here on how you can rent an apartment despite having bad credit, in eviction, or no job. Alright? But as always, if it doesn't feed you, don't water it, and too much of any good thing is good for nothing. How you lot doing today? Say it with me. I'm doing more, saying less, and keeping that same energy. No cap. Flip the script. I'm out. Deuces. Pow!
Oh, I thank God for the change. Oh man, so much shit has changed. Yeah, I thank God for helping us get here. If I were you, I swear I'd be nowhere. Came to the country and my mom was homeless. That's why I grind so hard in case you didn't notice. So I had to focus, camera lights and showbiz. Stacking bread like Hovis, you already know this. I'm grinding for the big fat checks, no change. I'm about to put my mama in a whip and it's arranged. The only time I focused on the chicken when she giving a nigga the good brain. Mommy came in from Niger to London. She don't get easy.